Had a number of requests from subscribers over the last month asking me specifically to speak about cover and shooting from behind cover. So today we're going to talk about that and some of the things that can help you, especially from a defensive standpoint, expose less of your body if you're shooting behind hard cover. It's really important to distinguish the fact that there is hard cover, a brick wall, concrete wall, something that's going to stop an incoming round, and soft cover, concealment, like this piece of cardboard. If you understand that, obviously if you're in a fight, you want to get to hard cover. You simply don't want to stand there and exchange. You're going to move off the line of attack, and you're going to move as quickly as you can to cover. In the perfect world, again, let me reiterate that a civilian would leave a fight. In other words, they'd run away, they'd try to hide, and they'd fight only as a last resort. So I advocate very strongly, if there's a lot of distance between me and a threat, I'm going to simply try to run away. I am not going to try to change rounds with a bad guy because that's just not good common sense. However, if we're in that situation where we have to fight, some of the important things to understand about cover, and we're going to demonstrate this for you, is the closer I am to cover, the more as I come out to engage the threat, the target downrange, the more of my body I have to expose. The other thing that's important is if I'm a right-hand dominant shooter, if I transition to my left hand, I will begin exposing less of my body, less of my appendages from the left side of this cover. Right-handed, I'm going to be about an arm's length away from the target. When I come up to cover, one of the things I want to do is keep some distance between me and cover. So in a competition type situation, an IDPA or something like that, you'll notice many competitors come up and they'll just kind of reach out, index the distance of the cover that they're shooting from so they don't get too close. Let me show you why you don't want to get too close. I'm going to get the cameras on the other side here, and I'm going to show you two different views if the cover is close, or I'm close to it, versus the cover is some distance about, again, an arm's length away from my body. Let's take a look at that right now. Alright, so in the ideal world, if I have cover here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the cover and again keep that arm's length distance from the actual blockade itself. That's because the farther I am away from it, the less of my body I have to expose out around the cover to engage the target from either side. So if I can come around, you'll see that. Again, I'm about an arm's length away. If, on the other hand, I'm right up tight against the cover, I have to expose much more of my body to the threat to be able to engage the threat. So, again, the farther away that I am, the less I have to expose myself to a threat. So that's kind of what it looks like. We're actually going to show you this from a shooting perspective so you can see it. But again, I am creating about an arm's length distance from my cover. When I'm transitioning from left side to right side, I'm simply switching the gun from my dominant hand to my non-dominant hand. And the reason I'm doing that is, again, I have to expose less of my body if I'm a right-handed shooter and shooting from the left side. So if I'm shooting here, I have to lean out fairly significantly and putting a lot of my head on the other side of that barrier. If, on the other hand, I shoot left-handed, right, my non-dominant side, I'm putting less of my body out there as I engage that target or that threat. So again, left hand, right hand. It's just more of the body is exposed with that threat. Right hand, if I were a left-handed shooter here, I'd have to be reaching out and getting more of my body exposed. So from a technical standpoint of just getting around the cover, that's sort of what it looks like. Again, it's nothing particularly fancy. Many new shooters have a tendency to really crowd cover. They get up as close as they possibly can, and therefore when they have to pie out around on either side of the target, they end up exposing more of their body. So we're going to show you this now from a shooting standpoint, just so you can kind of see how that transition looks. Again, right-handed, simply slide the gun to my left hand, back to my right, back to my left, and you'll note that, that takes some practice, and that takes some real discipline around your trigger. Keep your finger off the trigger with your dominant hand or your support hand as you're making that transition, and only get on the trigger when you're actually on target, your sights are aligned, and you're ready to press a shot. Okay folks, so now what we're going to do is actually show you this from a shooting standpoint. So again, we've got cover here. It's just a piece of cardboard, but we're acting as if it's hard cover. We're going to come up to the cover, be about an arm's length away, and then we're going to shoot the steel plates. 3 on this side, we'll transition to the other side. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the gun into my non-dominant hand, so as I work the left side of the barrier, I've got less of my body exposed. You will also note that I shoot slower with my left hand, simply because I don't have the kind of dexterity I have with my right. However, you'll note that I'm trying to get hits, not trying to shoot just as fast as I can, to throw rounds down range. So I come out. Now I'm going to transition to the other side of the barrier. That's what it looks like. So again, I'm working this side, and I'm about an arm length apart from the cover itself. If I'm too close to cover, what happens is I end up having to really stick a lot more of my body out. So I think I've got this more in the middle now. So let's try this again. That's what it looks like. So this idea of transitioning the gun from here to my left hand, back to my right, is one that allows me to shoot from either side of cover without having to expose a lot of my body. So anyway, that's a quick look at that. Hopefully that provides some value. Thanks for the subscribers who ask about this. Sorry it's taken so long to actually produce this video, but hopefully this will help. The main thing with cover, don't get too close, because you have to expose more of your body to see the threat out there or engage that target. Thanks so much for watching. As always, stay safe.